Hey, it's a great episode this week, and you're in for a sweet treat. We have a royal guest. Yes, who is it? Royal Crown, Cowboy Crown Creme Brulee. You better stick around because you're going to want to do this one for sure. Hey folks, thank y'all for stopping by camp today on a chilly morning it is, but it is time to do some cowboy cooking. My name is Kent Rollins, and what are we doing today? A little Cowboy Crown Creme Brulee. Oh, I hear some of you saying, the cowboy is speaking French and getting fancy. Well folks, I'm going to show you how to cook this in the house, but a lot of folks say you can't cook this outside. Don't let them words fool you or these clothes, because this guy can cook nearly anything you can throw in the pot. Right down there below will be everything you needed in the little description, from the recipe to the products to use to what's going on in our world. So be sure and check that out. So let's get started with this deal. And first we're going to take us a little sauce pot. Now you cast iron enthusiasts, don't get down on me, but I gotta have this little pot. It is one of my favorites. Whipping cream, heavy cream, 1 whole cup, which is that much. Cooking on Chopped one time, I seen this stuff here said mascarpone, and I'm thinking, I wonder if this guy was Al Capone's daddy, mascarpone. I didn't really know what it was, but I got to using this stuff, folks, and let me tell you, I be liking it. And we need about 1/4 of a cup, which is about that much. Now, follow me on over here to this handy dandy little propane burner unit. And I do like to use mascarpone, but I have used just regular old cream cheese. Still the same measurement, 1/4 of a cup. But I think this gives it a more rich, creamier texture when this is all done. And what is creme brulee? Well, it's sort of like a custard, sort of like a pudding. It's sort of a cross in between. I think creme brulee actually meant long ago over there across the water, burnt cream. That's why you got to stir it. We don't burn it too quick. You can put that fire up on a pretty good little blaze as you get started, but once you got that mascarpone incorporated in there, you need to turn this down and be careful so we don't scorch none of that cream.
Your hand's cold?
My hands is cold. It's 21 degrees out here. Should have been cooking in her Muda shorts and her flip-flops. Whew. Now, one thing you have to remember when you cook this stuff, it's got to have some humidity and everything in it. We got some clouds today, but that ain't the kind of humidity I'm talking about. You'll see as we go on along with this, we're going to cook it in a water bath. What you said? A water bath? You can't be putting water in cast iron and cooking. Well, folks, hang on, because I got a trick for you. Let's just go ahead and add 3 teaspoons full of vanilla. 3. And I like mine a little sweeter than some folks might, so 1/4 cup sugar. And the mascarpone is sort of incorporated now, so we're going to turn that down a little. You heard me say right at the beginning, this was a Cowboy Crown Creme Brulee. Now I'm wearing my crown, one I always wear, my favorite of all, but my next favorite Cowboy crown is, woo la la, and as Justin Wilson would say, I guarantee you that dog will hunt. How much are we going to put in there, folks? We're going to put 3 tablespoons. How much is 3 tablespoons? About that much. Well, just for good measure. But we got to make sure it's good. It's all right. Now we're going to bring this to a boil. But once it boils for about a minute, we're going to shut her down. So let me see, can I turn that fancy gadget out? Let's go right over here to little Christine. We got to keep this warm. Now you don't want it hot. I usually like to let it cool in the house about 15 minutes before we ever do something else with it. But 21 degrees ain't going to take long out here this morning. Come on. But we're not going to directly boil or steam water in cast iron. That is something we don't do. Now, I've brought me some hot water in a cooler, and this is a 16-inch oven. This is a 14-inch insert. Now, you can use a casserole dish in the house. They got to set in here to where that water's at least about halfway up there. So that's what that is for. In the house, you would preheat the oven to 325 degrees, and this is going to have to cook till about 45 or 50 minutes till it's got a little jiggle in it, but it's just right. 3 cackleberries. We just be wanting the yolk out of these, so Where's electricity at, Shen? Did you bring it?
No.
Well, it's time to break out the power tools. And you can see I got my trusty beater on there. Now got them mixed up really well. Now to this, we need to add 1/4 cup of honey. And the honey a little cold, so it's been sitting over here warming up a little. You want to mix this up till the eggs become a little frothy. Remember, I told you if you're in the house to let this cool off because you don't want to be curdling nothing up and you want it to be good and smooth. So out here, I'm going to stick my finger in it, make sure it's about body temperature. That's about what I'm wanting. As we go to start this, you want to add this slowly as you go along. Don't just dump it in there. Just a steady little stream and you'll be all right. Now I like to whip it just a little bit longer. I ain't trying to make whipped cream out of it. I'm just trying to make sure it's all good and incorporated. And you can see there, if Shan will zoom in there, that's got a pretty good frothing to it. Now, we could put them in that ramekins, set them in there and then tote that Dutch oven over and set it down. But you know what'll happen? No, we'll be having us some scrambled eggs somewhere. So let me get this oven set over here on this trivet. And you can see, if Shan will get in here, how unlevel that might be. So we got to adjust. That's pretty close for us, ain't it? You want to go about 3/4 full. And then just place them right down here in that water. Now you want to make sure that the water is at least halfway to 3/4 even up on these ramekins. Now you can remember what I told you, this is a 14-inch cake pan in a 16-inch oven, and it reduces down as you go. 12-inch oven, 10-inch cake pan. Well, you see me load the bottom up really heavy. Now one reason for that is we got an insert in there so we can withstand a little more heat. So really heavy hardwood coals today. We're using mesquite all the way around. Pretty heavy on top. Now there's not no breeze much today, so we ain't gonna have to worry about rotating so much. But I want to keep that water from reaching a hard boil. We're going to check on it after a while, see how things is rolling. Inserts in a cast iron and just sitting there heating, it's sort of hard on cast iron because it's a dry heat that's always just sitting right there on top. Remember, when you're going to cook with an insert, give it a little oil there on the bottom of that old cast iron before you put that insert in there. It'll always make that oven a little easier to take care of. Every once in a while, you're going to give this a check now and make sure that that water ain't boiling. I don't mind it coming to a little simmer, but I don't want it to boil. If you look in there and it's boiling, we got to fix that. So how do we do that? Pull the coals away from the Dutch oven. And I'm probably going to have to do that here in a minute, try to regulate that heat. And every time you cook something in cast iron that's got any kind of moisture, what are you going to get under that lid? Condensation. So folks, when we get through with that, make sure you dry that oven lid off really good, make sure it's clean, and we got to season it just like we do the bottom to keep that thing in good shape. We interrupt this story for an urgent bulletin. The Beag has got a very small bone because he's tired of bringing big ones to camp. Well, you can see it is boiling, folks, so we're going to pull a little heat away like I was telling you. We're going to cook this rascal until they begin to set up a little, but they still got to have a little jiggle in the middle. Well, folks, as you can see, there's just a little browning going on here, and I really don't want that. So we're going to get rid of that top heat because I want that custard-like surface just to congeal and set up. And remember, I told you it's going to be a little set up on the edges, but still jiggly in the middle. We don't like much, but we do need to lose this heat on top. I thought I better bring this over here so y'all could see what I'm talking about. See that jiggle in the middle is still pretty good, but it's not really set around the edges much either. So we're going to cook it some longer. In fact, we're even going to scoot the heat back up on the bottom there. You can see as Shan was up here, we sort of set here on the edges pretty good now. It's pretty spongy, that's what I'm after, but we still got that jiggle in the middle. Let them cool just a minute, and then we gotta fridge them at least 3 hours. I love to let them set overnight. And look here, Shan, the beak is bringing more treasure.
He's got a mouth?
Yeah, he's got 2 at once. Now, folks, that is hard work right there. Now, in the conventional oven, you heard me tell you at 325 degrees for about 45 to 50 minutes. Now, in a Dutch oven out here with good coals, and we heated our water up and got it hot before we ever started, it's probably 20 to 25 minutes along in there, so it's a little quicker out here, but you regulate your times by the jiggle and everything like this, because this is going to finish setting in a cold ice box. Due to the magic of TV and Shan prodding me with a stick, I went ahead and cooked these up yesterday in a Dutch oven at the house. Now you can see a little different color there as they are sitting there. One's a little bit lighter, a little heavier heat on top of these today. Take you some good white granulated sugar, sprinkle you some on top. Let's don't be stingy. Let's just go ahead because we got to give that a good coating. And you notice the breeze has picked up a little. If you used to be watching Hell's Kitchen or some of them fancy shows where Gordon Ramsay was yelling and screaming about somebody to bring the torch so we could scorch the little creme brulees. Hey, he ain't got nothing on me, folks, cause I be having a torch.
This is not recommended for indoor cooking.
Do what? You can't do this in the house? Now you need to let them set just a little bit after that so that caramelization there can take effect to form that like turtleback shell it's got on there. Ain't that a beautiful sound? So, you be telling yourself your wife won't let you use that torch in the house, and you ain't got one of them little bitty ones like they use on TV all fancy? You can do this in the broiler up there. Turn it on high broil. You got these on a little flat pan. Run them up under that broiler. Leave the door open because you're going to have to rotate these around and around to get this good even crust all the way throughout. I don't like it because it don't work as good as that torch, but listen to this. And look at that. Oh, man. Hang on, folks. I am fixing to indulge myself with some of this Cowboy Crown Creme Brulee. Hang on, I gotta have another one because...
Somebody...
Who is that, Shan? I can't get to him to turn him off.
Do it.
It's sort of like a vanilla-y pudding custard base, but the thing that really stands out to me is the Crown whiskey there, folks, that cooks out of that a little, gives it a nice woody taste to it that just makes it feel like home. And then when you can torch that sugar to get that caramelization, to get that crunch in there, don't get no better than this right here. It's just something that's sort of unique and different to cook in a Dutch oven. And when you can drag this out at a camp and show this, people say, wow. We appreciate you stopping by camp today. The Beagle worked really hard, buried like 10 or 12 bones today. He's still singing that Randy Travis song every time we're down here at this location, digging up bones. As always, we salute all our servicemen and women and veterans and all those who have served. We're gonna bring the world and families together through food, folks. Food and conversation and visiting. So be sure and what? Share, like, and subscribe. And let's get her done. Thank y'all for tuning in and going down the Cowboy Crown Creme Brulee trail with us. God bless you each and every one.